Are we ready? I don't think you're ready enough. I said, are we ready, Aeternum? All right, boys. Are we ready? Let's get into it.
Hello, everyone.
Hi,
Welcome
Scott.
to the New World Aeternum post-launch dev update.
New World Aeternum.
New World Aeternum. I'm here with Dave, the creative director.
Hi, Dave.
Dan, give a nod, the
Hi, Dan.
design lead, and Katie, the live lead.
Hi, Katie.
Before we get going, oh my
Hi,
gosh,
Dev KDK.
we launched.
We did it.
We've seen people pile in the beaches.
You launched
It's
3
been
years ago.
awesome. It has been so fun getting the console
But
players.
yeah, it launched.
interacting
Yeah,
with
that's
the
fine.
PC players. And
I'm
watching
so
all that fun
excited.
stuff. Any stories you all want to share about the launch?
I mean, I really enjoyed seeing the raid. Like the first time seeing that completed was epic. Now people are optimizing.
Talk about how cool
really
DustyWhy
Yeah,
is.
mine is related to that because we just saw the first sub 30 minutes and actually first sub 20-minute raid run, which is really awesome, but also means we're going to make the next raid really hard.
Wait,
I'm loving it being
weren't those because of the upheaval tech that they disabled? Wasn't that like a 16-minute because of the upheaval tech? Oh, okay, there were legit ones. Okay. Okay. There were legit ones without up. Oh. Elemental band. Duh. Because now everyone's just fucking going elemental band. The more you know. So anyways.
on console, so it's my living room. The whole family gets to play. It's really fun.
The response has been great. Thank you all for coming and checking it out. Like, I can't tell you how
You're
exciting
welcome,
it is
man.
for all of us to put
Yeah, I'm
this out
excited
there
to
and
be
see
here for the
everyone
first
playing
time
and
ever.
giving us the feedback. So like we're really appreciative.
I'm looking at the
Couldn't
back
be
for
happier.
spoilers.
So I know some of you are joining us for the first time. And what we're going to do next is we're going to talk about where we plan to go with New World in the future. We're going to start with Season 7 so we
Chat,
can
this
walk
is
you
it.
through all of the cool things coming out in Season 7.
This is it!
You know, sneak peek, they're pretty freaking cool. Beyond that, we have this thing that we're going to talk about called in development. So these are a
Okay.
bunch of features that we're working on. We are not ready to commit to a timeline, but we want to give you that
Okay.
insight and get some feedback from you, which will help us prioritize which
I
ones
like
come first
this.
and where we go. And then we're going to talk about some things that are in the early ideation phase. This is where we just want to get your sense.
That's
which of these you
good.
like more than others, because this is where
That's
you can have a
good. They're
big impact on
communicating,
on
and
where
we
you
have
go
a
with the
future
game this year.
outlook. This is huge.
But with that, you know, like, Dan, you're going to take us through this.
Yeah. So next we're gonna dive into these things one by one. We'll bring in some other folks to the table.
Talk
and,
to me nice, Dan.
Gobble gobble. Let's go.
Gobble, gobble.
Hello everybody. So now we are.
Gobble and gobble were neither of the three words that I picked for Scott Lane to say. All right, boys. That is a huge intro. So we're getting next season in development, things they're actively working on, and then things that are still like in the ideation phase. That's huge because if things are in the ideation phase and they're already communicating, that means that they may actually listen to the community. I'm smitten. I'm tickled pink. This is literally what I've been ranting about on stream for like, how long, chat? How long? All right, let's hit it.
Joined by 3 new faces at the table. We have 3 lead designers. We have Joel of Systems and Seasons.
Gang,
We have
gang.
JR of Combat and Modes.
Squaw!
And we have Chad of AI and Encounters. And we together are going to be talking about some things that are in our next season, which is coming at the top of next year. Obviously, we just got done shipping a big
All right,
console
let's see.
game.
Let's see,
and,
let's see,
you know,
let's see.
we're getting back up and running.
Wait, don't take that down yet? What the fuck was that? Why was that so fast? Let me read. Sorry, chat. They're fucking hasty today. Don't look at me like that, Dan. Dan doesn't want us to read this. There's probably a typo. Next season. Seasonal World 1. Wait! Yo! I talked about seasonals. I talked about seasonal realms if population supported it. Like Path of Exile seasons. We talked about this. We talked about this, chat. Wait. Holy shit. I'm already happy. I'm already smitten. New OPR map preview. Preview next season. So actual map will probably be the season after. Mutated expedition updates. Yo! Let's fucking go. New rewards. New daily soul trials. Rewarding the endgame loop? Wait. They're 4 for 4. They're 4 for 4. This is a fucking Wendy's special, brother, because we are 4 for 4 in this. What do you mean? Wait, this is so good so far. Combat balance updates every season. Wait, does that mean I have to play this meta the entire season? Dan, look me in the eyes right now. Seasonal resets as a poison pill. So I think it's not, in my mind, Ocelotl. I've always said, and this is what I've wanted, not seasonal resets of the same game, but think mutated seasons. Seasons with different modifiers on them, where they are like small, basically mini like sessions within that. It's not going to be a full seasonal reset, at least in my mind. Like what I've always thought would be cool would be like different themes for each mini season, and then you have your like ongoing legacy in the background. So that could be good. Anyways, combat balance updates every season. New artifacts and perks every season. New perks is intriguing because I don't want the perk pool to get diluted. Like, I want there to be build variants, but I don't want the perk pool to be diluted, basically. So I want to monitor that. They should rip perks from the game if they're doing that as well. Like, they should cycle. Give a script back. Gang, gang. Gang, gang. Gang, gang. I'll stand on that. Seasonal events and... Wait! World bosses! World bosses! Chat! It's everything we talked about. Wait. East side of the map world bosses. Yo. Are we up tremendous? This entire next season roadmap? Hold on. Hold on. This is the roadmap that we made. Like, we talked about a lot of this. World bosses like Turkulon? No, not like Turkulon. So, not like Turkulon. So, there are already world bosses. There are already world bosses. Like down here. Mothor, the Thundering, like all of these. But the issue is they're not rewarding to do, so nobody actually does them. There's no big reward. There's no like hype. What I've said for a while is just Guild Wars 2 world bosses, steal those. The whole thing. The world boss, the intro, the NPCs, all of it. Just take the whole thing. Get copyrighted. You have better lawyers. You're Amazon. Just end it. Just steal their shit. Literally just take it. That's all I want. You get money from them? We'll get to that. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. But that's a good, like, even if it's only a small reward for doing them, that's huge because it incentivizes people. All right, let's let them cook. We're 2 minutes and 28 seconds in, and I'm so unbelievably hype about this entire thing.
Just got done shipping a big console game, and you know we're getting back up and running into content and feature development. And we'll take you through one at a time. The first one being something we've been talking about for a long time. Finally have, super excited. Joel, do the honors. Tell us about Seasonal Worlds.
Yeah, this is one that I'm personally really
Seasonal
excited
Worlds,
about,
I
something
like.
that I really have been invested in. So Seasonal Worlds are a season-based world that will last for the time of the season, so roughly around 3 months.
Yes, sir.
That has unique rule sets where we really flip things on their head. The goal being that we provide players with a really unique experience that
different
breaks the
level
rules
caps,
that,
like
in the case, and I'll talk about it in a little bit. Maybe PvP
3
is always
weapons
on these rules or on these
You
worlds.
gave it away.
I did.
3
give it away.
weapons could be so sick.
As you know, the first server.
Or like one
Not as you
weapon?
know, but
Like,
as you know now, the first server is PvP focused.
Oh
And that's
my
something that's
God,
near and dear to me.
wait.
I've played a lot of games over the years that I
Yo.
really enjoy that risk reward feeling. The first server is at level 15. You'll be fighting other players. We've created a unique set of item and gear that you'll be able to craft. It's very heavily crafting focused, which I also really like, where the player will feel powerful in this gear, but the risk that comes with this gear that you'll be able to craft is that it drops on death, that it has durability. We're pulling back some of those old mechanics that don't exist in the normal worlds.
Resources and the gear.
Wait.
Back some of those old mechanics.
Yo. Is that Naomi? Yeah. Big shout out Naomi Nada. She made it. That's how she fucking knows everything. She's one of them. Naomi Nada is a secret AGS dev. I've just exposed this. Yeah, shout out Naomi Nada. GZG Naomi. Ni hao, ni hao, ni hao.
Risk that comes with this gear that you'll be able to craft is that it
Fire.
drops on death, that it has durability.
Yeah,
We're
Naomi
pulling
on
back
the
some of
come
those
up.
old mechanics that
They
don't
did not
exist
get
in the
Mail
normal
Oreo
world.
for that
Resources
promo.
and the gear.
My lord.
Yes.
All drop on death.
The resources, well, the new resources to craft our special new really kind of super items that are on par with, say, artifacts in the
Super
server,
items?
those drop on death.
Yep.
But you'll be able to craft some more basic gear that's still
Yo,
pretty
they're
high gear score
cooking.
with some more basic resources like iron, timber, and hide. You'll be able to craft your normal gear that's still really high gear score, but you'll need to wear that special gear that's dropped on death to go get these new resources to craft these really cool big items.
Yo.
That gear also, like, you should talk about, like, we went pretty crazy with it, right?
It's nuts.
Because it can drop on
This
death.
is
like,
sick.
we did things that we normally would be kind of leery balance.
Did you mention that it breaks too?
It does break.
Yes.
But to JR's point, we took some of these pieces
Permanent
of gear and
breaking
we really
gear?
pushed the limit on them to make them feel special, to make them feel like there's impact.
Wait, that
these
great
should
axe is
feel
fire.
on par to artifact items, if not farther in some
Very
cases.
farther.
Yeah. So really the goal is how crazy is going to be, how much are we going to shake up
Permanent
the meta,
great
how much of a
axe?
different experience can we provide to you? While still some of that familiar feeling, that core of the game that is so much fun. So we can kind of experiment and again, find what's fun to you or fun to me or fun to each other. I'm really looking forward to what we can do with these systems.
It feels a lot like the original New World Alpha.
Yeah.
But with all of the QOL and content that it now has.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
This is kind of
We should also
fire.
reiterate, like, so it's a brand new server, like that literally wipes every season. So you also get that new player experience every season.
Yeah.
If you-
Yeah,
if
there's
you
going to
like
be the
having-
race
Those
to
hordes of
race to
players
top
coming in from the
level.
beach.
Like,
you get the camps on the ground. You're gonna have a lot of like death and maiming getting to the settlements.
yo, Quest, I'm so excited, baby.
that's my
I'm so
jam.
excited. Wait, if it's forced PvP, what is the start going to be? Surely there's new player protection on the beach, but oh my god, can you imagine what's going to happen when the Musket Union gets a hold of that? Surely there's a protection against like level stuff. Rust Beach PvP. Ugh. A mess. Dude, we're just sitting at one of the exits of the beach just dropping grabs like it's a fucking farm war. Oh no. Kind of sucks to split up the low pop. Okay, but hear me out. One thing, I don't know if they mention it in here or not though, but I retweeted this on my Twitter, !socials, pop over there. But they are doing a free-to-play trial for consoles right now. So that's going to gauge interest post-launch, post-roadmap, with the positive sentiment spreading again. So they're doing console transfers, free trial for console right now. I think that we're about to go crazy because on launch we were over 100k with PC and console combined, like well over. And that's not confirmed because we don't have a console poll of like the exact console numbers, but like PC alone was what, 57, something like that. I think it's nice. Plus, personally, I think like seasonal worlds have a chance to actually bring in the ARPG side of the audience too. Like if they do seasonal worlds that are heavily SSF based, SSF being solo self-found or like Iron Man or whatever people want to call it, like that has a chance to attract a portion of the Diablo audience, like the Path of Exile audience. Like you might not be a hard competitor to them, but the thing that happens is with seasonal games, you naturally have burnout towards the end of the season where people get done what they want to get done. Those players typically have nothing to do for a little bit. So they could pop over. They could check that. Yeah. ARPG players love seasonals. And so like, I think the MMO side is still going to partake in that MMO side, but I think there's going to be a lot of incentivization, especially if they make like M1 to M3s and rating worth it for that like seasonal rating aspect of things, especially if there's like gear drop on death, like gear breaking. Like gear drop on death in a rating sense is also relatively punishing. So I don't know. I think they're really cooking with these seasonals so far. I don't see those players coming. I wish I did, but I don't. Well, have you seen anything positive today, Lumi? You seem grumpy today. I'm not gonna lie. I'm very excited for this. I don't think we're gonna necessarily like shut down Path of Exile or Diablo 4, but people will check this out primarily because New World's combat again is standalone at the top of that genre, in my opinion. Like New World is, in my opinion, the best like non-shooter combat that I have ever played in a game. I enjoy New World's combat more than I do actively playing MOBA combat. Like I genuinely think like, I don't know. I think New World's such a standalone. No, it's okay, Lumi. It's okay to be disappointed, but I think there's a lot of good here. And we have to remember, like, our problems of today are not our problems of 2 months ago when we were worried about the game shutting down because we had 2,000 players. The problems of today are like, oh no, the positive outlook isn't exactly what I want it to be. But what I've always said, and what I always say to people regarding like Cats Wars or anything, right? Like if you're working a job IRL, if you're working towards anything, like you can't expect to instantly wake up and be the best at that thing, right? Like I can't expect to instantly wake up and the first day I started streaming, have been partnered and stuff like that, right? And so it's like, you've got to make progress on things every single day. And one thing that we didn't see with New World from AGS for a long time was that progress being made and that effort being made in a clear, communicated, concise way. And now we're seeing that. And like what I'm personally seeing is a lot more progress than I saw at all in the past. He said, I just don't want to see pop drop fast like it did. So one thing, I'll pull it up real quick, that really encourages me, okay? And I know that it's still not going to be like the best thing in the world, but hear me out on this. The longest period that New World has ever had of successive player growth month over month is 4 months. August to November of 2022 leading up to Fresh Starts and Brimstone, okay? 4 months consecutively of player growth. We're at 3 months right now of average player growth. Going into a free-to-play trial period, going into the holiday season where they are certainly going to have sales on stuff. After this roadmap, like I genuinely think that we are going to carry this momentum through December, hit our 4th month of player base growth, and I think once it hits that, we're going to see a lot more people come back into the game. Because what I've always said about New World is like, a launch alone is not enough for New World to instantly like regain traction, right? Like the analogy that I use is if you showed up to work and you walked in and your boss kicked you in the balls every single day that you walked in for 3 years. And then one day your boss calls you before work and he's like, hey man, you can come in. I'm not going to kick you in the balls today. You're going to be really hesitant to go to work without thinking you're going to get kicked in the balls. That's the same thing with New World. Repeatedly, the player base feels like AGS just kicked us in the nuts with a lot of these updates, right? And now they're like, hey man, Aeternum's here. There's no more nut kicking. It's safe to come out. So once that actually happens with the current player base, that sentiment is going to spread outside of the player base. And you're going to tell your coworkers like, hey man, I showed up today and Scott Lane didn't kick me in the nuts. Like it was a really good day at work. He even had pizza and ice cream for us. And once that spreads and more people say Scott's not kicking us in the balls anymore, New World pops. And I'm here for it, boys. I'm fucking here for it, boys. Oh, I'm so here for it. But yeah, I think this is huge. And I think that what it's going to take for New World to truly take off and pop again is that sentiment spreading from the current player base, the people that are there, to the people that aren't currently there. And I think like once that starts to happen, we'll see that cascading effect of people coming back in. Because, like, a lot of people left New World because of WoW Classic. Like, Sequisha was streaming New World pretty much every day, and then did, like, Kenshi for a little bit, and then went to WoW Classic with WoW Classic. If WoW Classic dies, and New World is in a good spot, I guarantee Sequisha comes back. Sequisha was having a blast. Like, so far, I think there is a lot of good here. I think there's a lot of good here so far. Ships have sailed? I think you should look at how many ships have been sailing for streamers. Most large streamers are playing everything that they can get their hands on right now, trying to find something that sticks, and nothing stuck for anybody. Like, honestly, the amount of time that a lot of these streamers spent on New World, Sequisha specifically, is impressive. It's a lot more than I thought. Now, there were also people like Shroud who did their 2 months, and they, you know, they did their 2 months, they went back to whatever their, or not 2 months, 2 hours, sorry. They did their 2 hours, not 2 months, nowhere near 2 months. They did their 2 hours, and then they went back to streaming their other game, right? But, like, Sequisha hung around a lot. I don't even think Sequisha was paid for his time playing the game. I'm being completely honest. I don't think Sequisha got paid. So, like, I think that people will genuinely come back to this, and I think this has the potential to be a revisit for a lot of streamers on a routine basis. Genuinely. So, I think that we're nowhere near done, and you guys also have to remember, relativity is a large thing, right? Like, if we're not 1 million players, that's okay. The game was 2,000 players a few months ago. If we hit 100K alone on Steam, that's worth throwing a fucking party where AGS flies me out to the stew and we all do a pools, beaches, and hot tub stream together and fucking shoot whipped cream around and stuff. Like, pop champagne bottles. I don't fucking know what we do. But, like, it's worth celebrating. Very much so. Very much so. Seasonal things make it more streamable for some. Oh, I'll 100% be checking out pretty much like every single seasonal launch, especially if it's something intriguing, because it's not like seasonal launches are going to completely like kill legacy progression. Like, people will look at seasonal servers, they'll play them for a little bit, and if you want to die out at the end, it's not a bad thing if the servers atrophy, because it's just a seasonal server. They don't have to do merges, they don't have to worry about it. Like, it naturally hits the content cycle of, okay, what do we do with this next season? And it gives them, at the very least, time where people will take place in that seasonal content. Like, genuinely, seasonal will be the new PTR. They can see what sticks. Yup. So with seasonal, these servers we're on now would just be dead then? No, not at all. So seasonal servers are going to go away and reset. So people are going to have like their mains on like this. But think of this as the true division. Like, you remember how they were like, Aeternum is relaunching as an ARPG. And we were like, this is still a new, this is an MMO. Like, this is literally an MMO. So legacy servers will be the MMO side of New World. And I think the seasonal servers will be like a short limited cycle MMO, but more the ARPG side of things. Like, I think seasonal servers will typically gear towards those like people who are taking part in the content cycle, whereas the legacy servers, which will be always around and will have that growing like content catalog, continues to grab that like big community, right? And the hope with the seasonal servers is that people do the seasonal server, and then if the next seasonal server doesn't interest them, they just play their legacy character. So then people would transition from seasonal players to legacy players on the non-seasonal servers, and they'd be retained. Seasonal servers are kind of the beginning of the end for Warso? No, because these servers aren't going away. Like, these are not going away by any means. So like legacy servers will still exist. Think of seasonal servers as like mutated dungeons. Like, you don't have to do a mutated dungeon or expedition to do an expedition. No one will log into legacy when the seasonal stuff is new and split the pub hard as. No, they will. They 100% will, because people are still going to want to war. People are still going to want to not drop all of their gear on death. Like, it's not like it's an Aeternum versus legacy launch where it's like just a difference in gearing. It is an entirely new gear set. Legacy servers exist in PoE, no one cares about them. Right, but PoE doesn't have any community aspect to it. So like, there's no sense of company progression. There's no sense of long-term company goals or anything like that in PoE because it's built on the seasonal reset model. So it's going to like not split the population, but it's going to attract different parts of populations. Like we have to think it's giving us like a larger scope to potentially draw from. Like we appeal to more of a player base there. So I think long-term, like PoE and D4 are entirely built around that seasonal aspect. Like Diablo has been ladders from the start. Legacy servers on New World are still going to exist for the wars, for the like long-term company MMO progression, right? Are there players that really will play seasonal that have not played Legacy? Oh fuck yeah. Oh fuck yeah. And I guarantee every seasonal launch is used as an opportunity to get streamers in. I wouldn't be surprised to see Mathil, Mr. Llama, like some of the big PoE Diablo streamers, dude, Pox. Like I could see a bunch of people coming over here. I could see a bunch of people coming over here for seasonal launches. Genuinely. If seasonal comes through, I'll only play seasonal and not Legacy. Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, it'll give people things that they want to play. Like, genuinely, I would play both. Like, my Legacy would still be used for warring and everything like that. And then my seasonal, I would do seasonal launches for content to try to, like, sweat out the leveling and stuff like that. PoE streamer is going to have close to 100% PoE uptime now. Meh. PoE will be PoE 2 will wear off. New World gaps it. Seasonal should be 3 to 5 times as fast if it's the same. Just fix OVRQ, please, because seasonal is shocking. Nah, PoE dead. And Amazon has more money. Remember that. All right, onward with the video. Anyways, yo, chat. I just want to say, when was the last time we were all this hyped about something? PoE dead? Listen, I know that might be cope. I bought a $500 supporter pack for PoE. I know it's just cope, but let me say it. PoE's dead. PoE's irrelevant. New World on top. PoE takes New World. Or wait, no. New World takes PoE out. Oh no. I broke character. Oh no. All right, let's get back to it, boys. I love how excited we all are. I hit the wrong button.
Again, I'm a somewhat of aggressive player, so I'm excited to see how players are going to treat this, how they're going to form up and protect each other, but also potentially rob each other from their gear.
It feeds into the territory system too. It brings those
Yo,
big stakes
chat.
to this. Crafters
We going
are
gear
now, like,
hunting.
a necessary part of your war machine as you take over the server.
We all want the game to succeed because nothing gives us combat like New World, but we've seen so many disappointments. I see a disappointment every morning when I shower. It's fine.
Looking at ways to make it so you can completely level by crafting if you want to.
Yeah.
Again, we'll have more details on these things in the future, but we're really trying to fine-tune these little experiences to feel like you can play how you want, and that it's, again, slightly familiar, but completely different when you play through it. And I'm really excited to be bringing these servers to you.
That's awesome.
This
is
a whole new
frontier. I mean, it's
like
changing
that.
up all the time too, which is great.
I like that a lot.
Yes, we have, I can't wait to tell you about all the ideas we have for the future ones. And of course, they become places to experiment with things that we might bring into the main game.
I
But that's not all. One of the other things that we're very excited to bring you, JR, I won't upstage you. What are we bringing?
Okay.
Okay,
so
what are we doing?
We know OPR is one of our most popular modes, and we've had the same map since launch, pretty much, right? It came out shortly after that.
Tell me it's like rotating seasonal
I'm
maps with
excited to announce
decorations
that
and
we
stuff.
are in development on a new OPR map, and
Fire.
we're going to actually have it be in a preview form for Season 7. We're
Okay.
gonna have it on for a weekend, and we want to get the player feedback.
Oh shit!
And
They're turning it
so
on for a
they can-
weekend.
you guys, we want you to help us to develop the map. We want to make sure that this map is lives up to the expectations that you
That's
have, having waited for so long.
And later in the video, we'll talk more about it, but
Yo,
this is
that's
just the beginning,
so
right? We're
huge.
spinning up multiple maps.
Yeah, absolutely. The modes pipeline is in full gear now. We're going to be making new game modes and new maps and for existing modes. And yeah, this new OPR
We're
map
up
is kind of
tremendous.
the first
New
one out of the
game
gate.
modes.
Yeah, we wanted to show it to you, even though it's not potentially not fully ready.
New
Again, to get
game
that feedback,
modes, new
but also
maps.
we're just so excited. Can't wait. Next on the list is kind of a few small things that we're doing for mutations, which are expeditions in the game have normal and mutated levels. So for M3, which is the highest level, we're adding these to the instanced matchmaking system. In order to make sure this goes smoothly, we are unifying our mutations. Tell us about that, Chad.
Yeah, so big ticket item here is
Unity
that
chat.
all the currently active mutated expeditions will now share the same mutation. So elemental, promotions, curses, all those will be the same across all of them.
Very
which
neat.
Means,
Big
a lot
quality
less,
of life.
Re-gearing,
Wow.
re-gemming
I like
your
that.
gear.
It's a nice
And
change.
hopefully just more time spent fighting and having a good time collecting loots.
I
And
like
then the
that.
other thing we're
I like that a
doing
lot.
is we're increasing the quality of the
Good
rewards
change.
in M3s.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So we're looking at adding crafting materials into mutated expeditions, as well as in
Prismatics?
raids that together, when they're combined, you'll be able to craft
Wait.
new 725s. So this will be an alternative source and give meaning to want to go back into these expeditions and make sure that
What?
you're actually having fun in the content you want.
Boys,
We're gonna continue looking at
725
that
from
and improving it.
M3s?
For now, we like where it's at, and we think that
Oh
it'll give
my
more
God, the
players a
gear
reason to go
pipeline.
visit this content.
So adding more options to
Yes.
your endgame content.
Yes.
Along those same lines, we're also adding 2 new daily.
You like me?
soul trials
Exclamation
to the roster.
roadmap.
3 new soul trials.
Three soul
So
trials?
we've got, we're adding Mother's Dream, which is Emperor Zhu, Tempest Mind, which is Isabella, and
Again? Okay.
Daichi Saito. So that's adding to our roster. So you
Wait,
should be
that Daichi
seeing
fight's
those
about to
in
be
your,
fucking
in your list
sick.
every day.
Awesome. Thanks, Chad. And then to round out the season, we have a few things that we like to do every season, starting
Yo.
with combat balance updates.
Yeah, so obviously, yeah, this is something we do every season. This
Please
season,
give me a
some
preview.
of the things that we focused
me.
on was time to kill. Something we've been seeing in PvP a lot.
Great.
Fights go on a little too long. So we're making some adjustments to
great.
consumables and some of the perks.
Please.
And then we're also looking at balance around target lock. Target locks,
Okay.
Luck, you say.
Okay.
we turned it on in PvP
Turn it off.
for the Aeternum launch, and we've been keeping an eye on the feedback. And
By the way,
and
thanks
data.
again for all the feedback right before launch as we went
Yeah.
through beta.
My
It was very
pleasure, dude.
helpful, And we made some changes and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We did.
Happy-
we did tone
happy
it
to
down quite a
backfeed.
bit from what it was in beta, and we're going to be continuing to tune things. One of the changes that's coming up in season 7 is actually the blunderbuss was a problem. We had nerfed the damage going into launch. Now we've reversed that, and instead we've replaced it with some extra inaccuracy in target lock as kind of a balancing factor.
Yeah.
And we're going to be continuing to make tweaks like that in the future.
Oh, wait.
Yep, absolutely.
Inaccuracy during target
there's
lock?
also new artifacts.
Oh.
New perks.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Wait.
we're going to be introducing 8 new artifacts in season 7. 7 of them will be weapons, and there's 1 accessory, which is an earring.
VG? Like staff?
And yeah, there's some interesting combos that are going to be accessory.
Wait, okay.
Also new artifacts, new perks.
Wait.
Yeah, absolutely.
There are either
Okay, so
two
we're gonna-
muskets. Wait. So rapier, musket. Chat, keep an eye on that musket art.
Be introducing 8 new artifacts in
Fire staff and bow. That fire staff's gonna come from the Emperor Zhu Soul Trial. That art is insane. That art is insane. The fire staff comes from the Emperor Zhu Soul Trial.
Acts, new perks.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to be introducing
Where would everything else come from? The rapier looks sick too.
8 new artifacts in season 7.
The bow's got like green and purple on it.
7 of them will be weapons.
Void Gauntlet. That life staff art is phenomenal. That life staff art's insane, and that Void Gauntlet turning your entire arm purple is so sick. These transmogs are nuts.
And there's
Like
1
the
accessory,
entire life staff is glowing. That is dope.
which is an earring.
Nice.
And yeah, there's some interesting
Oh, they said one of them's an earring. Another ice gauntlet, nothing for bruisers.
combos that are going to come out of that.
There's an ice gauntlet in there that I really enjoy. It's a really cool ability on the gauntlet that there's
some interesting combos that are going to come out of that.
They show a UI bug in this, by the way.
there's
Look at the heart rune in the bottom right hand corner. They still have the UI bug where it goes entirely white when it's filled up. Wait, so what's the combo? My rapier players.
And yeah, there's some interesting combos that are going to come out. out of that.
There's an ice gauntlet in there that I really enjoy. It's a really cool
I didn't
ability
notice
on the
anything
gauntlet
different.
that lets me, when I ice tune, give me a large amount of regen at the end of that. So I'm excited to try out and see what I can actually
Regen
get
at
away
the
with that,
end
or
of
if I still
Tomb?
die. But we'll see how it goes.
Sounds like trouble.
Yeah, well,
That's his nickname.
That's a fun.
Interesting. Interesting.
And then, well, why don't you bring us home with
Better
talking about
healing
the
tomb?
seasonal
True.
events and-
Yeah, so we're doing some refreshes on a few events. We're looking at
Okay.
Legacy of Crassus and upping the rewards a little bit more meaty rewards past level 700.
Nice.
Same with Siege of Sulfur. And then we're going to bring a little bit more rewards into Rabbit Revenge. That's a little bit more fun costumey. Maybe a little bit of trolley in there as well. We'll see how it goes.
I like that. Rabbit
I'm
Mount.
hoping to get those events to console players for the first time as well. As they
Yo,
haven't
Rabbit
seen
Mount
these
would be
events.
insane.
So that's everything in next
Rabbit
season.
Mount would be so
We're
sick.
Very excited about the OPR map.
Yeah.
Very excited about seasonal worlds.
Absolutely.
More details about both coming soon.
I like all
And
of this.
Remember, we're just getting started.
I like all of this.
Now, let's talk about what's in development. So in development is
I know you're going to skip this. New seasonal worlds, territory system improvements, endgame progression improvements, cross-character progression, including seasonal worlds. So console and PC cross-character progression. Insane. Insane. Wraparound XP? The internet's ruined my mind. So I don't think it's a new trade skill like I'm thinking. I think it's going to be, for those that play Diablo 3 Paragon system, like when you hit level 65 or whatever in New World, you would continue to gain character level perhaps in like a character progression model that like goes past the actual max level. Umbrals V2. Umbies. Boys, we're up tremendous. Pick up wars. Pick up wars, boys. What are these? What's umbies? Umbies are umbral shards. So basically, umbral shards were a currency that were dropped from mutations. And they dropped off of the last boss. And when they dropped, you could take gear that was 590 gear score or higher and upgrade it to 600 to 625 with it. So the cool thing about that was if you had a purple piece of gear that had 2 perks on it, you could instantly get the 3rd perk, like Gamba. So not only was it a way to go like into higher levels of progression with your gear, but it was also a way for people to have a sense of instant gratification with, all right, I got this piece of gear. I'm going to slam it to 600 for a few umbral shards. I'm going to see if it hits. Oh my God, it hit for a build. Wow, fantastic. Woo! Oh no, it didn't hit. Oh, I salvage it. Well, nothing ventured, nothing gained. It was just an easy upgrade. Such a good system. Such a good system. I'm so glad that it's back. Pickup wars have me hyped as well. This is in development, keep in mind. But pickup wars are also insanely sick. For accessibility, fantastic. I'd like to see what they're going to do with this more, but we're already up tremendous. Crafting improvements, I love that even more. New PvP modes and new mode maps, both huge. Invasion difficulties. I like this a lot. Endgame rewards and systems improvement. Invasions mode with matchmaking. Yo, people are going to be able to grind invasions if they want to. Hello? That's so good. Global storage. Oh, they're tying all the storages into one? Okay. Endgame reputation systems with different factions. Wait, that's insane. And a barbershop. My goodness gracious. Wow. That is a smug look of knowing you just absolutely dropped the fucking banger on the timeline. That is a look of, oh yeah. Yeah, we did this. We did this. That's insane. That's so good. This is the biggest mushroom stamp an influencer could possibly have without your actual face on it. I don't know about that. Surely other people were providing a lot of input on this stuff as well. But dude, I feel like this is most of what we talk about on a day-to-day basis so far. I'm not even gonna lie. I feel like this is literally like the DustyWhy stream roadmap. Like it feels like a fever dream of things that we've just talked about over and over and over again. Keep in mind, we have our roadmap here as well that we made as a community, okay? We made this on the 10th of November. Nameplates, attribute node, grit changes, PvP track, deckhands promotion, LE band fixes, fast travel fix, tax reworks, artifact accessibility, 690 to 710 revamp, gear upgrade system through Umbies, revamping the content to make it worth doing, chromatic seal access for early players, new OPR maps, new game modes, balance patches, east side of the map reworked and useful with world bosses and different like endgame open world content, new weapon announcements, new raids and mutated raid content, new expedition loot table with 700 plus, new artifacts. Dude. Practice wars on the agenda, like everything, bro. Literally just everything across the board, man. I'm so happy with this so far. I'm so happy with this so far. This is insane. This is insane. All right, let's keep it going.
Somewhere in a more midterm timeline, we're definitely looking into stuff, but there's still plenty of room to discover. And
yo, who's my
so,
AGS dev in the chat right now?
List, in no particular order. We can start with
Invasion.
Thank you.
Why I like Invasion is
I want to say, I'm like the final boss for like them appeasing somebody. Like, I genuinely feel like I have been so critical of so many moves, but also I give them credit when credit's due. But I feel like if stuff is not good, I will openly say that I don't think it's good. They don't pay me. They don't sponsor this stream. But God but they're cooking. They are cooking with absolute gas. Absolute gas, charcoal, lighter fluid, everything. They are just throwing it all on the fire right now. I want to see what's up.
something
I'm so locked in. I'm so locked in.
Content. It's sort of unique to New World, this idea of battling people. But, you know, the content is a little limited in terms of participation because it's only a set time. It can only take this many people.
Yep, same with Wars.
So what if we turn this into a mode? Right? Like, I think
An
we're starting to make more
accessibility
and more modes. The activity
mode.
stream is a great place
Yes.
to sort of like, what do I feel like doing? So like,
Yes.
let's get Invasion into a mode.
Infinite
And I think
accessibility.
Once you start
Yes.
going in that frame of mind,
It's
I'm sure lots of
inclusive
things are
now.
like, could we add some more enemies? Could we add maybe mutations? What
Uh-huh.
happens to the rewards?
Mutated
lots of
invasions?
ideas start to come up.
Yeah, definitely like
Wait.
adding more variety to the mode. Like we have all these different kinds of corrupted enemies.
Let's
that
go!
we are using in the mode currently. So like bringing those in and like having it vary up like per season even like. It'd be awesome. Yeah.
It's great content. I mean, speaking of modes,
This is
I mean, that's one of
so
the things that your team's
good.
looking into more, right?
Yeah,
Wars,
absolutely.
wars,
So
wars, wars,
we're
wars,
actually,
wars, wars, wars,
prototyping
wars.
Lots of different kinds of game modes, things you might have seen
Okay.
in other games, like Capture the Flag,
Oh!
that we think would actually work
S
really well
tier.
in our game.
S tier.
Also,
S
like a Battle
tier.
Royale mode, like a lot of those systems that make up
Battle
already exist in the
Royale.
game. So like,
Yo,
mashing
you
them together,
find an
creating
ice
a queuable
gauntlet?
mode for that.
Oh,
And then also,
oh
like,
my God, I'm gonna shit on you
framework
guys.
for new modes might be
my
like doing
God.
like more of a
Oh my
seasonal
God.
type
Oh my God.
experience where every season there's like a featured game mode for that season and we vary it up.
Thus, you seen the sub count when New World was doing well, and now he's a full-time AGS glazer. If you think I just started glazing AGS, you haven't been here long enough, brother. I have been the #1 New World coper for the past 2 years, dog. There's a reason why I've been showing up. I wish that it was as easy as glaze AGS, have high sub count, because I would have been doing that long before now. But yeah, no, I've been glazing AGS for free for quite some time. But I also yap about AGS a lot. But you have to remember, exactly. Always remember that. No, but you have to remember, a lot of these changes are what we've been asking for on stream. Like, if it were changes that I was just like, this isn't gonna be good for the game, I'd still be pissed. But literally what they're saying is like, I've turned into the Hulk, right? Like, I'm big, I'm mean, I'm green, I'm fucking yoked. And they're just like soothing me. They're like, Dusty, it's okay. Practice wars are coming. Mutated invasions. Revamp of content. Umbral shards. Balances. New artifacts. Just everything that we put together in our community roadmap is being addressed here. Except grit.
Up like every season.
Yeah, I love that. Like even something like capture the flag. One season maybe we try it with mounts. The next season without. Like there's ways
Oh,
you can
capture
sort of,
the
like,
flag.
keep it fresh and interesting.
Capture the flag will be
it
so
increases
dope.
variety, and then it also kind of keeps the number
Yo.
of modes.
If it's a capture the flag season with mounts, I am checking your mount level before you play capture the flag with me, because if you are a level 0 fucking mount and you pull up on my capture the flag team, I'm banning you from chat and you can go play with fucking Willy, okay?
Like maintainable so that we don't split up matchmaking too much and stuff like that. For
Yeah,
sure.
exactly. Yeah, like
He's
every new
nicer.
SKU that we add, like
He'll
splits
encourage
our
your
player
slow
base, so we
mount.
wanna avoid
Get
that.
Vittles.
And then we've talked a lot about modes.
If you don't
and
have
how,
Vittles, just
they
ask your
sit
chat.
Really well.
That's how I get
next
mine.
To our open world, but like the open world and the persistent
Gravy,
new world
what up?
experience is super important, and that's where we're looking at all kinds of stuff, like QOL
It's
things.
still called riding.
Yeah, like one that I know.
Well, he will embrace my mediocrity. No, I love Willy. I love Willy. I will definitely do capture the flag with Willy because he's playing heavy void blade and he won't be able to die. He'll just be the flag carrier. Dude, he'll just be in the middle of people, like just left clicking and healing all of his health, just going ha 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 ha, while I'm like over there fucking sweating trying to peel him and protect him. I hate void blade.
We're thinking about is storage, right? Like how many
I'm gonna copyright strike his build guide.
times have you been crafting and you're like, where is this material? Or you're you're about ready to run a mutation and you need a special piece of gear, right? So like if storage was much more global,
Yep.
what
But
would that be like?
still filterable. You want to be able to make sure you can
Void
find
blade
those
heavy
things or
to
sort
go
it in a way
faster
that's
is
meaningful
crazy.
to you, but not have to chase it down every time you want to do an action like crafting and other
Global
places like
storage
that,
is
trying to
fire.
pull it out.
Yeah, this is one where we have to kind of solve like more edge cases than you think of. There's tech, but we definitely want to do it and get it out there.
I love Willy.
Similar to modes, also one of the pieces of endgame content that we love, but we want to try to improve upon is wars.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Uh-huh. Talk to me nice.
I bet that
I'll
the
happily
majority of the
consult.
player base has not.
Yo, AGS, this is an open offer. I know in the past I have said some very grumpy things. If you are looking for advice on this mode and you would like somebody from the community to give you very in-depth advice and feedback on wars, please reach out to me on Discord and I will happily work with you guys on this mode. If anybody from AGS is lurking out there, just know I will happily work with you guys on this mode. Let's move on.
Experienced the war because it is very exclusive content, but it is so good. It's so fun. So our goal is to provide a way for the rest of the players to try it out, right? So the thought is that we would do some kind of like private war system or like a pickup war where any company can challenge another company to a war.
Oh my
So that's just a way of like, bringing war to the masses.
Wait!
I love it, right? Because there's so much that, war relies on right now. Like it's so important.
It's my war system! It's my exact war system! It's my exact war system! Oh my fucking god! Chat, we did it! Chat! It's my exact war system! Oh my fucking god, it's my exact war system. There's no way. There's no fucking way. Oh my god, it's my practice war system, dude.
Cat with abs is absolutely
Yo, Amadeus, thank you for the follow. Thank you, thank you. This is insane. This is insane.
Important that people don't want to take risks, but if you make it something that like any two companies can set it up, you don't even have to be in a company, maybe just any people can get together.
Yes,
it allows
AGS.
people to try new builds. It allows people to try new people rather than slot the exact same people in every time. I think it's great.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's what
it's
I've
a
been
place right now where you
saying.
can't really slot somebody unless you you have no way to vet them or audition them. And then like you said, just more people being able to experience it at all. So we've heard from a lot of you, and we completely agree that the start game for a new
Yo, there's no way. There's literally zero shot. That's insanity. With that being said, Cats is recruiting all S-tier players. We'll get the noobs practice wars in 2026. Sit down and watch the big guys do it. I'm kidding, by the way. I'm kidding. That's not actually happening. Back to the video.
New World is now better than it's ever been. The mid game
It's
is
so
feeling good. It's really when you get to the end game and the kind of like systems and dailies take over. That's where we think we can double down and make things start to really click and awesome. We've all got thoughts on this.
Yo,
but
this
Joel,
is
why
so
don't you-
good.
Yeah, absolutely. So first I want to say we hear you and we understand that a lot of the older content, we really want to refresh that. We want to make it feel like you can go back to Reekwater and have impact. You can go back to really crafting high-end gear.
Elu showed up. I mean, S doesn't stand for shit, right?
Or finding unique things from crafting. In an earlier segment, we talked a little bit about how we're improving item crafting from mutated dungeons.
I
we
love
really want
Elu.
to take that to another level across the board.
I love Elu.
One example would be looking at reputation systems.
Rep
for
systems
some
are
of the zones
sick
and being able to build
with
up
rewards.
and kind of have a reason to
Rep
go
rewards with,
somewhere
like,
you might not
mounts and
normally go,
transmogs and
build
stuff
up,
like
get
that.
better rewards, have reasons to go
Oh,
craft there,
rewards,
have
he said
reasons
it.
to go do different gameplay elements such as
Yup.
ECRs, such as
Yup.
questing,
ECRs
potentially new
mentioned.
gameplay activities in some of those areas, new collections. We're really trying to push kind of play how you want to play.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
That's like
lean into the
making
sandbox.
rewards that you care
Lean into the
about, right?
sandbox.
Like, so it's like in the past we've had just like this gear score chase, and then you get the perks you want, and then you're kind of done, right? Like, but we're talking about having a larger variety of perks that are like more of a horizontal progression, like something.
Part sounds great, but so vague. Well, okay, so the thing with it is like they're mentioning a lot of the right things though. Like I think with a reward system for reputations, it doesn't have to be anything insane. Like you have certain thresholds where it's like, all right, you reach level 10, you can buy these basic goods like a few health potions, a few regen potions, which introduces my idea of vendors with regulatory introductory pricing on everyday consumes. You can buy like rabbits or whatever the 48 con food is, right? And more of those basic goods as you work your way up into eventually like different transmogs or transmog tokens from reputations on a weekly cooldown for in-game gold. So they reintroduce free earnable transmog tokens on an even larger scale than one a week, because then you can do your different reputations. And then on the higher end of it, you have different faction mounts, like different faction like elements to it. Like, oh, dude. That's how I feel.
About actually is like
Stop
we only
dreaming.
We have like one unique
Shut up,
perk
Sonic's
per
dick.
ability, but there's nothing to stop us
When
from
farming?
making, like, 10 unique perks.
Dude,
per
if they bring
ability, right?
farming, it's over for
and
me.
Having just a lot of variety and like changing up.
Yo,
your
Mandy
gameplay,
Gaming,
it
thank you for the
becomes more like
follow.
a horizontal thing.
Whoa!
And then taking that a step further and
Good
potentially
afternoon,
putting
friend.
those perks in unique places. So I have to go to this dungeon or Reekwater or this zone to be able to get those perks. And also making those perks have more of an impact in different game modes and different areas of the game as well.
Oh, no, ask whatever you need, Mandy.
Really make crafting meaningful is something that I'm personally passionate about. I love
Nice.
to go gather
Meaningful
click rocks,
crafting
whatever
is
you wanna
good,
say in the game.
as
That's
long
my-
as
that's
it's
my
not
jam.
like
I love doing those type of things.
an
You'll find me
inconvenience.
gathering more often than not. But I really want to make sure that crafting has that meaty impact that we had previously. You're able to craft some of the best gear, and it has a reason and a purpose is one of the biggest goals we have for this.
Right.
Beyond that, really making sure that you can kind of play the way you want and go to the zones that you want or the modes that you want, and making sure that there's
I think one thing that could be really cool long term is New World has classless progression, but what if they made it so you could specialize in one form of crafting and you could make like exclusive gear, or you got exclusive benefits for that, like you didn't have to use as many cooldown mats, you got like a reduction in the cost of crafting mats, or you didn't have to use this core element. Like, I feel like a crafting specialization could be absolute heat, because then you have like your weaponsmiths, you have your armorers, you have your arcana people, like, and they have exclusive benefits, whether it's like reduced mat cost or like improved stat rolls by like plus X amount of attributes on the piece of gear that they roll. Stuff like that would be kind of sick, like long term. Ayo, Mackenzie! Hello, Governor. I know you need to own houses in the cities the buffs are active in to make sure you get the buffs, but when gathering, do you need to be gathering inside the territory that the buff is active in? Nope, so they're global buffs. As long as you own the house in that territory, that buff applies to your character wherever you are. So as long as your house has the buff just follows you around wherever. This is so good. As someone who has played this game the entire time, like, this is so fucking good. I have been sitting here like on stream ranting about how all I need is communication. And this is so good. Anything good from this dev video? Everything good from this dev video. Not a single bad thing from this dev video so far. The good thing is, in my mind, every change that's mentioned is something that needs to be addressed. There's no bloat in this video. It's not like, oh, we're gonna spend time figuring out what nameplates are being impacted by. Like, they're like, nah, we're giving you some heavy fucking shit here. Like, dude, 10 out of 10. What up, Sith? It's a beautiful day, brother. It's a beautiful day in Aeternum. Beautiful day in Aeternum. Beautiful day. Oh my god. Everything is so good. Boys, I really hope they can get the community to stay long enough to put all these ideas in the game. I really think they can. So I talk about this a lot, but player retention numbers. The longest period that New World has ever had of player retention was 4 months leading into Fresh Start and Brimstone update. And we're on month 3 right now, leading into, and the first month of this update. So basically all we have to do is maintain our like growth through December, and we've tied the longest period of players coming into the game, at least on Steam, that we've ever had, which means that retention is better than it's ever been. So I think right now they just introduced a console free trial. I think after the console free trial ends, it probably goes on holiday sale for the base game, as well as the expansion, as well as the bundles. I think it's so good. I think we're so close to blowing up. I think we're so close to blowing up, chat. Genuinely. I think we are right there. Like, my God, it's so close.
rewards are meaningful, not just go to the raid, not just go to San
Oh
Juan,
my
and not just
God.
go get golden coconuts and other things like that.
Yeah, I think that's the best summary. Is like play the way you want and always feel like you're making an impact, like you're progressing in some way.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key. And
This
there's
is
so
so
many ways you
good.
can do that. I love the idea of the reputation systems because it's like a new level of meta progression. And I think there's some neat ways.
A
we
few
could
good
do
seasons
that
plus a
versus
paid X
a
pack.
very
Yep.
grindy way, make
It's
it
all
more
got to be
quest-oriented or
progress.
something, like where you
As
feel
long
like
as
you're
this is all
unlocking
delivered
powers
within
in a
like
zone, you know. I think there's cool
reasonable
ideas
time. Like,
This is another
I
place-
don't think they need to drop it all at once, but each season, if we get significant jumps each season to give us new things to do, like, that's going to keep players interested. I think it's a matter of just like progress. Like, if there is growth, things are changing and the game feels better, people are going to say, people are going to play, and people will be going crazy.
It's where seasonal worlds kind of help us experiment and try out new systems. Look for more of that.
Yeah, I think if we can get this end game ripping, like we have the sort of the early and middle game, I think that's the sort of the last piece, like you said, that could really sort of keep people playing and excited.
Thank you.
And
That's what
look,
I've said.
It's going to take a lot of work.
It's literally what I've said, man.
A lot of things that we want to do. which is why you'll see on our living roadmap that we have improvements to things and then overhauls to things. And one is for midterm, one is for long term, which maybe this feels like a good place to now start talking about long term. All right, now we're joined at the table by Kurt, our lead designer for world content. And we're going to talk about the third category on our document, which is in exploration.
You know what's crazy? I was really f***ed up at TwitchCon the entire time. But you guys know how I was talking to somebody who was like, they recognized me and then they were like, I watch your stream. When I was talking to the 33 Immortals dev. I'm thinking back on it and I think it was him. I'm not even fucking lying. I'm like looking back on everything. And like the build is accurate. The face is accurate. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, that might have been who I was yapping at TwitchCon. That was like, wait, show me your badge. And they were like, oh, I do recognize you. And I was like, good or bad? And they were like, oh, I work at AGS. And I was like, oh, cool. I play your game. And he goes, yeah, I know. I'll watch your stream. And I was like, wait. And I think that might have been who I was talking to. I'm not even gonna lie. In exploration, so these are long terms, okay? New weapons, ranked PvP, new raid, procedural expeditions with extraction. Oh shit. So basically what that is if you've played Diablo, it's similar to like the Greater Rift system, where you would keep delving deeper and deeper into harder levels of content, getting rewards, and then getting to an extraction point before dying. Think like Dark and Darker, think like Greater Rifts, stuff like that. That's insane. Yo. Yeah, that's like Greater Rifts from Diablo, because they're procedurally generated based on map tiles that currently exist within the game set. So they combine current existing like map tile sets. So you could essentially get like a Brimstone Greater Rift that's like a Brimstone Expedition, which is like the desert level. You could get like a Windsward one, which is set within like, the Windsward settlement or something like that.
We want to share our early thinking and what we have in store for sometime in the...
I didn't get through this. Raid difficulty levels. Raid difficulties is insane. We asked for that as well. New PvE modes is sick, actually. Territory system overhaul. Very intrigued about what that is. Would love to learn more. New exploration and collection systems. Open world chests, maybe diving and stuff like that. Hello. Influence tower claim / siege system with building. Endgame rewards and systems overhaul. Zone up levels. New zone. All instanced content available in matchmaking. Company hall with storage, boys. Company hall with storage. Give me company progression as well, with like company levels and challenges, and that's S tier. My great googly moogly. We're up tremendous. Oh, we're fucking cranking 90s, brother. We are actually Skibbity Rizzler out here. We're so up tremendous, I can't even process the yacht of my Ohio. New trade skill as well. I wonder what that's going to be. I wonder what the new trade skill is going to be. Company level, hall, progression events, upgrades, buffs, etc. is all in Throne to Liberty. Yeah, but Throne and Liberty sucks ass. Yeah, Throne and Liberty sucks ass. It's a bad game and it's pay to win, and I'm poor. So I don't like pay to win.
In the future. As we said earlier, we're all in on Endgame right now. We want to make replayable content. We want to make more things to chase, more frequent content updates. And some of the things we're thinking about are, we'll start with kind of our known things like new weapons, for example.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Plural?
So nothing to announce on specifics here,
Plural?
but we are in development on our next weapon, and we actually are going to be prototyping multiple weapons, and they'll be coming out at a more regular cadence in the future.
Unarmed tree.
And then
Fist weapons.
Zone up levels and new zones. So Kurt, you worked
East
on the
side?
Cutlass Keys up level, for example.
That's right. Cutlass Keys was
Good
an
job,
experiment
Kurt.
in what it would be like to create a max level replayable zone in New World. As many of you know,
Spit
the
on that
questing
table,
system
brother.
and Level up
They'll clean it up.
experience looks a lot different than it did when it first launched.
Yo, who did
And
the
as part
Weaver's
of that
Fen
streamlined
rework?
process to make it level up as immersive and fun as it could be, there are parts of the game that kind of got left out of that streamlined leveling quest line that we did. So we're looking at taking some of those zones that are no longer part of the level up experience.
East side?
And repurposing them into max level explorable play spaces. And so
We
one
called
of the
it-
things that we're currently working on
We called
is
it-
a Reekwater up level to refresh Reekwater for max level players
Yo!
and bring new elements of progression and gameplay to the zone.
That's
One of the
insane.
things I'm most excited about that is some of the collection elements that I've
It's a
seen
great
from your
start.
team that you guys are really investing in. I'm a player that really likes to go exploring. I like a little bit of PvP, and getting me out into the world to just kind of emergently discover what's there or go out and look for these things to collect is something that's my jam. I really enjoy that, so I'm excited to see what happens with these.
Yeah, the idea with Reekwater is that we want to try and create more of an open world experience than an on rails quested experience.
Yeah.
There's so much content in the game actually that players don't really have a reason to explore because they hit max level and there's like no reason to go back to this zone.
This is so
This
good.
is awesome.
Yeah, and this in conjunction with some of the stuff that we've already talked about, like a reputation framework. These are going to be great systems to use going forward to make our end game content more replayable for players.
Yeah, and there's more even than what's on what we're publishing and talking about today. But yeah, like take all the content, give you reasons not just to go to it, maybe even for the first time, but again and again and again.
I love this.
I'm very excited about how we're kind of approaching doing our up levels as building the pieces to eventually culminate in that new zone when that does finally come out. New World is always meant to be a sand park, and we started out all sand long ago, back in the alpha days. And we've got our park nice and built, and I think where we're at now, we need to kind of bring.
So basically, there are like, I'm pretty sure Sandbox and Theme Park are like the two sides of it, where a sandbox is you're able to do legitimately whatever you want. You're placed in the world and it's yours to kind of like Rustify or Minecraft, right? The theme park side of it is it's more like laid out for you, like complete, you do this, you go through this like linear progression ARPG type shit. A sand park is a combination of the two where you're like softly guided along the framework that they want you to follow, but you're in the sandboxy element where like along the way of the framework, you can do the MSQ, but you can also gather and craft your way up to 65. You can also apply for a job at Biggie Joe's logging company. Like there are many things that you can do within New World to kind of like sandbox your way through the game. And I think them leaning into that like sand park element is very, 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 very good. Very good.
And find that right balance between sand and park. And that means bringing more sandbox. Like we have the systems in place. So like
Biggie Joe paying you min wage.
Like influence.
Okay, Biggie Joe might pay you minimum wage, but I bet the benefits are fantastic and he really appreciates your employment. That man's a legend. I want to know how many watch streak days AGS has over here. Bro, this entire video so far is like stuff we've talked about on stream. This is so great for me. Like me personally, selfishly, I love this. I love this. I've always said, I have a ham on my sick. I've always said the biggest thing that I felt was not heard by AGS. And I want you to know, if you're out there and you're new AGS people or you're watching stream, I love you so much, and please reach out to me in my DMs because I haven't heard from anybody from AGS in so long, and I would love to talk to you guys and tell you how much I love you. Thank you. Back to the video.
tower claim siege system.
Oh, we're up so tremendous.
Territory
Wait, tell me
overhaul.
siege stairs.
These are things that players have been
I
asking
want siege
for, and
stairs.
I think everybody's got a different idea of what to do.
So you can like
but,
climb over the walls
to
and
me,
build them in wars.
Like I would even conceptually say that company hall ties with that, because like these are things.
Company hall would be so fucking
we need a way
PogChamp,
to
dude.
feel like you have a home in the game, that you're doing some kind of a base building loop, and that's what the territory system is meant to be. But it's just, I think we can
That
get
you
it
and your
there.
friends, that you and your company
to me
have
nice.
goals to be able to build up and activities to do together, and feel like you're making meaningful progression and impact on what those things are. Again, together you're building up, and I think that's a big thing. I love those company style guild halls and other things that you can build in other games, and I'm excited to see what we do there. I think that's something I'm personally going to enjoy a lot.
Please put guild
making it
progression
more
in.
than just like the top companies on the server get to participate. Like it's more like, you know, anyone
Community
can
based.
start a company, build something, like they have a little slice of the world that they, you know,
Can you
own.
expand it?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love it. I
think
love
it's
it.
also worth mentioning that we're not just focused on overhauling or revamping existing locations and systems, but we are ideating on new locations in the
Expanding
world
the map.
that we can add to
It's
New
huge.
World to progress the narrative and expand the world in new, exciting ways as well.
More
Some of the
world
early
building.
looks on some of the
I
new
love
areas
this.
and
I love
raid
this.
style stuff that we're prototyping. I'm so excited for. They're just so cool looking.
Yeah, me too.
Some of the coolest art assets I've seen. So I'm excited to see players get those things.
Do we have like a winter zone? I feel like a snowy zone would go fucking hard. Low key. Can you imagine how nice like the sounds of a snowy zone? Great Cleave. Yeah, but it's not like full winter. I'm talking like snow on the ground, like the snow crunches under your feet because the sound guy ran around with a Shure SM7B strapped to his boot behind his dad's house. Like, I'm talking that like snowy crunch, like the like actual quietness of having snow on the ground, because there's a lot of like in New World, there's a lot of like ambient environment noise. Great Cleave's fully covered in snow, but it doesn't give me the immersion. I'm gonna be completely honest. It doesn't give me the immersion. I think we need like a new, better winter zone. Like, I will go over to Great Cleave right now, and this shit does not give me the snowy immersion. I'm teleporting there right now. Diving profession with new underwater areas would be top. Diving profession with like treasure hunting and spearfishing and stuff like that would be insane. Turn your AC down. Brother. There are fucking leaves on the trees. Where is the snow? What winter is this? Atlanta? What do you mean this is winter? I don't know what your winters look like, but this is like September. Further south. I'll show you further south. Anyways. Yeah, this isn't winter. I want like a full winter zone. I want like snow crunching beneath my feet.
Yeah. Well, we won't go into any more details than that, although that
No,
there were
please do.
details at all. But we
Don't-
won't talk
don't
anymore
end it.
about some of the ideas.
Don't
but,
end it.
The big takeaway is
Please
like,
come
we're
back.
excited. We hear the players. New World is a wonderful world to just hang out in and play in, and we just need reasons to do that more and
Yeah.
ways to go deeper. That's what we're looking at.
Wow. This is huge. Hold on, I'll move my camera so there's a full look at the roadmap. Bop. This is huge, guys. Like, this is basically every change that I've talked about on stream. I'm not even going to lie. Everything that we've talked about on stream is in here. This is insane. Genuine, actual absurdity. This is so good. All they had to do was this. Now, if they keep communicating with us and like dropping little teasers and things like that, and like updates on how things are going, how things are looking, like give us previews here and there. Oh my God, everything's great. Everything's great. We just want interaction now. Communication has been established. Now interaction. That's step 2. If they interact with us and they continue to have a line of communication, then the existing player base feels validated, feels seen, and we're up tremendous. And people will stay. Yo, do we have an AGS dev in the chat that needs a gifted sub? If you can confirm that you're my shadow AGS dev, I'll make sure that you have a lifetime gifted sub right now.